Okay, I'm just gonna go on the record and say this, but this book has some serious favorite potential. I'm not too far in, so I might regret saying this, but yeah, so far so good. Hopefully it doesn't go downhill in this vlog. Hi everyone, it's Rachel back with the Shades of Orange. Today I want to kick off the start of my reading vlog for The Last Days of Jack Sparks by Jason Arnopp. This is the April pick for my horror book club that I host on Patreon. And I am going to keep this vlog spoiler free. So that means I'm not going to talk about a lot of plot points, especially later on in the book. Of course, I'm not going to spoil the ending. However, I am going to give my reactions as I'm going along through the book and give you a longer impression of my reading experience than you normally get in a shorter review. So if you want to know absolutely nothing about this book, you may not want to continue on. But again, I think most of you trust me that I do lean on the side of keeping things pretty careful when it comes to spoilers, so I hope most of you will stay with me. And I've just been dying to read this book for years. I feel like I've been recommending this book to other people even though I haven't read it, which is something I don't normally do. I have gotten the chance to read the author's follow-up book, Ghoster, and really enjoyed that one. So I've been meaning to go back to this one forever. And I'm very excited to get into this. Of course, I'm filming this while we are in self-isolation. So the one downside to this vlog is that I'm not going out a lot. I'm really trying to stay home as much as possible. So this vlog is probably going to involve a lot of cooking. I might share with you what we're baking and what we're making for supper. Hopefully that's interesting. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, this book is supposed to be about a journalist that gets in trouble online for making fun of an exorcism. He ends up capturing some video footage that he can't explain, and he posts it to his YouTube channel. And the general premise behind this book, and it's told right from the beginning, not a spoiler, is that you know that Jack Sparks dies while writing this book, and that is made very clear. And this book is basically finding out what happened to him. It's supposed to be snarky and funny, and I've also heard that it's very creepy, which intrigues me because I find often horror is funny or scary, but if it can be both, I'm definitely here for that. So hopefully you stick with me and hopefully I enjoy it. Let's see how this goes. Hey, I just want to pop in with my initial thoughts on The Last Days of Jack Sparks, and so far I'm definitely enjoying it. I've only read the first chapter and of course the prologue, but yeah, it's definitely to my taste. I like the main character, who is super unlikable. I'll get into that more probably later. But I just love the snarky tone of this. I've read Jason Arnopp before, I read Ghoster, and I'm not surprised that once again his character has a lot of snark and there's just a lot of wit in this book. At the moment, it's very much focused around an exorcism and possession, and you know I love stories involving that, so I'm hoping that that will stay as the main supernatural focus. This story is basically reading a manuscript of what Jack Sparks had written in his experience of trying to investigate the supernatural, and the story has been written after his death and is basically told through the lens of his brother, who is providing notes on the book. And I'm just really liking the setup. I'm really digging it so far. And yeah, I'm excited to get further in. I'll keep you posted. Hey, before I talk about the book, I thought I would just share a bit of a food update, because with the isolation going on, we are trying to only grocery shop once a month, which is tough. So I have not been in the store for about 3 weeks. And so we're definitely running out of the fresh stuff, but I have a really good stock pantry because we have access to Costco and I'm pretty addicted. Fun fact, before I show you what's for dinner and what's in my pantry, I wanted to mention that for anyone who's curious, because I do get a lot of questions where the name The Shades of Orange came from. That came from an idea that I had before I started my booktube channel, where I thought I was gonna be a food vlogger. And I became obsessed with videos about grocery hauls and what's in my fridge. And so I thought I was gonna do that. But then I realized that I have a really crappy North American diet and I would just be destroyed in my comment sections. And I don't know, I don't really like cook anything that interesting. So that's where it came from. Not that it has any reference to food, but it's kind of what I envisioned as being like a food lifestyle person. And then I was just too lazy when I started recording about books. I just never changed the channel name. So that's why it doesn't really reference reading or books like most booktubers have in their channel. So nothing too exciting here. We just have a slow cooker full of chili, nice hearty meal. It's still really cold here. I'm so jealous of people that are telling me that it's warming up in April because it's very cold. And I'm being a Susie homemaker these days because I made homemade bread. We are out of regular bread, so I'm making it myself. But by making it myself, I mean I'm using my bread maker. So yeah, the illusion is totally gone. The bread maker did all the work. And here is the pantry. Honestly, nothing too exciting. My son was playing with the peanut butter on the floor. Again, it looks like we went nuts in this pandemic, but honestly, my pantry kind of always looks like this. If anything, we usually have more snacks. That's kind of what's empty here because we're finding that we're just eating all the tasty stuff first. I don't know if anyone else is running through that like even though we're home all day and can totally make stuff from scratch, we're like eating through our granola bar section really fast. And yeah, eating all the like tasty junk food. So that's the situation going on here. And the fridge is a little more sparse. This stuff is all leftovers that my son will eat. We always keep a lot of eggs in the fridge because it's really cheap, easy protein. We have a bunch of whole milk because of baby. I have some hard-boiled eggs, some meat I'm defrosting, and then we have like apples, carrots, and lettuce in the crispers. So see, this is why I don't do pantry and grocery and what's in my fridge videos because it is horribly boring. Finally, real quick, I want to talk about the book itself and say that I'm still really enjoying it. And to go into a little more detail, what I love so much about this book is the character of Jack Sparks. He is so unlikable. He is an a-hole. He is obnoxious. I would not want to spend time with him, but he's really enjoyable to read about. And I'm a fan of unlikable characters when it's done on purpose, when the author is intentionally writing them to be that way, and it's definitely the case here. And the other thing that's working really well for me is that Jack Sparks is a huge skeptic of the supernatural, which is my way of thinking. No judgment to anyone who feels differently, but I'm someone who could see a ghost, have it like pass through me, and I would still be looking for another explanation. So the fact that the main character is watching this exorcism take place and seeing things that are pretty scary and unbelievable, and he's just making fun of it the whole time and picking it apart was so much fun. I definitely connected with it. It's probably one of my favorite horror tropes is the skeptic character, and this is exactly what I'm getting from this book. So yeah, I'll say it's still going strong. And if I didn't mention before, I'm reading this book along with my Patreon horror book club, and I'm really loving the group, especially right now. It's just awesome to have other people to not just talk about horror books with, but just chat every day and kind of keep me occupied and distracted from everything that's going on in the world. So it's been a lot of fun. We have a spoiler-free chat where we're kind of sharing our initial opinions, and so far everyone is really liking the book, which makes me super happy because I did hear online some mixed opinions where people just found the characters so obnoxious that they ended up hating the book. But it seems like my patrons have similar tastes to me and are just enjoying his snark. And once we're done the book, we're going to be talking all the spoilers, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm also technically doing this as a buddy read with Kayla from krakentoagoodbook, and I'm going to leave her channel link below, but I'm a terrible buddy reader and I kind of forgot to tell her that I started the book. Sorry, Kayla. So I'm going to drop her a message, and I will hopefully be talking about the book with her as well. And I did want to mention that for my book club, which is always linked down below if you do want to financially support me and join in, we use an app called Voxer. This is a free app, and this video is definitely not sponsored, but I really like the app because it allows me not only to send text messages, but also voice messages. And that's really handy because it's a lot easier for me to just like throw a little voice chat in there rather than me typing on my phone when I'm busy with my son. But it's definitely been a lot of fun so far, and yeah, I'm excited to get back to the book. So since we last talked, I've made a lot more progress in the book and I'm past the halfway point. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this all spoiler free. But one thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is that there is a big focus on social media and technology in this book. I know the author said online that his favorite subgenre of horror is contemporary horror, and it's definitely what he likes to write about. This, as well as Ghoster, are very focused on modern day technologies. So within this book, there is a focus on this video that shows up, and a lot of the book involves Jack Sparks trying to investigate where it came from, what actually happened in the video, is it a hoax? I'm not going to get into details, but it's definitely very creepy. And I'm really enjoying those details for sure. This book does include some emails and Twitter messages, but I wouldn't go so far as to call this a multimedia book. He just incorporates technology because it's set in the modern day, and I think he's an author that really proves that you can make a book creepy and still have it be very modern. And that's something I complain about all the time in my videos, is that a lot of times horror has this need to go back and tell their stories back in the 80s or even earlier because they're so afraid to have technology show up, like cell phones. And a lot of times authors say that they can't tell their story properly with those modern technologies because everyone would just look everything up online or call their friends and make sure they're okay. And I think Jason Arnopp really proves that you can have it all, and I love modern horror like this. So I will say that this middle part is a little bit drawn out for me, and I think that just comes from my bias that I really do like short, tight horror books, and I'm finding that Jason Arnopp's style is much more chatty. His characters have a lot of commentary and like little snarky remarks that they're constantly making or thinking about, and for me it's kind of adding a bit of bulk to the book that I don't think is necessary, but at the same time there are some really good creepy moments. So I'm getting a bit distracted by all of the snark going on, but I still am enjoying this one. So I'm gonna give at least one more update probably when I finish the book, of course keeping that spoiler free. But I'm gonna get some reading done because it's currently nap time here and I'm just craving to get back to this book. Hey, so just a super quick food update. We are a little bit concerned here about supply chains when it comes to the States because the American president is threatening to withhold medical supplies. And so my husband was panicking, kind of fairly. A lot of people are worrying that we're gonna get cut off from a lot of the food products that are made in the States and shipped over here. So my husband did a panic shop to Costco earlier than we thought, and so our fridge is now maxed. We have a stupid amount of eggs, and we have yogurt for my son, more milk for him, and up on the top shelf we have just like, yeah, just little bits and bobs. It's mostly eggs and milk and cheese and fresh produce in the bottom because we don't know when we're gonna get it again. And our freezer is maxed out, and I'll show you the pantry as well. And here's the pantry. This is honestly a little bit awkward to show just because we've never had this much food in here. Here we have snacks. My husband really wanted Dad's cookies, extra granola bars. I know why he got fruit cups. We never eat those. He got a bunch of chips and said, "Don't judge me," and I'm not. We have like just some staples down here, more peanut butter. My husband always makes sure that I have peanut butter on hand. Baking stuff. This is kind of the same. And then yeah, down here we got like extra apples, bananas, and tuna. Like I said, I'm almost kind of embarrassed to show this because I just was saying how we didn't go crazy and like stockpile, but just with the uncertainty going on right now, we just wanted to make sure that we had extra food on hand, but we made sure that like we weren't clearing shelves. We bought at Costco, and we only bought stuff that we knew we would eat and make sure that we eat before the expiration date. So hopefully in future hauls we'll be able to just buy a lot less and just kind of top up with some fresh stuff like eggs and milk and fruit and all that, and just kind of work through our supplies because my husband kind of went crazy at the store, but it's weird times for sure. So we're back in our usual filming spot because I have binged the end of the book and can give you my final thoughts on the last days of Jack Sparks, of course keeping this really spoiler free. but I'll say that the ending was really solid. I was a little bit unsure partway through the book how I was feeling about it, but the ending just brought it all together. There was definitely some good WTF moments. It was intense and smart and just very satisfying. And you can tell that the author knew what he was doing the whole way through the book. And I would definitely recommend this one to horror fans. It's got a lot of snark, as I kept saying, but it also is reasonably creepy. There are definitely some scenes that were intense and definitely got into my own head. There's a lot to like about it, and I'm really excited to see what Jason Arnopp is going to write next, because I've already read Ghoster, so I can't read that one, but maybe I'll give it a read through again, because this book just reminded me how talented he is. And I just think this book was really fun. So overall, definitely enjoyed it. I would probably give it about 4 stars right now. And in terms of it being a favorite at the end of the year, that we'll have to wait and see. It really depends on how much this book sticks in my head, but definitely would recommend this one. It was a lot of fun, and I definitely think it was a good pick for a reading vlog because I had a lot of strong opinions on it and good reactions, and I just really connected with the story. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to know your thoughts on this reading vlog. I feel like I'm starting to get a bit more of a rhythm and start to figure out what I want to film and figuring out like placements and all that. I know my video skills are a little bit weak, but I'm getting better, and I'd like to know what book you would like me to vlog next. I want some ideas. I do prefer these kind of reading vlogs, at least for me to film, where I focus on one book, and I want it to be something that's fairly well known, something hopefully I'll connect with and actually have decent reactions to, because a boring like 3-star read doesn't always make for really good video. So give me recommendations down below, a book that you think I'll really enjoy, or at least a book that you would like to see my opinions on, and I'll see if I can do this again in another couple months. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I read a lot of horror as well as some thrillers, science fiction, and fantasy. And if you want to support my Patreon, don't forget to click down below and you can see more information on my horror book club. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.